What's up guys, Baer here, and in today's video, it's part 3 of the Anaconda tombstone aging process. So with that being said, let's roll the intro and get started. So where we left off last video, we actually painted the snake, gave him a nice gloss so he looks super realistic now. And we went through the process of tea staining. And of course, if you missed that video, definitely go back. I'll leave a link in the description for all the videos so you can go back and actually watch them in order and see the process from start to finish. So in today's video, part 3 of the Anaconda tombstone aging process, we're actually gonna finish painting the manufacturer molded moss here, a nice lichen moldy color, and we're actually gonna go get some real foliage and some real peat moss from my yard and hot glue that on here, and we'll pretty much be done with this. And I'm gonna actually go ahead and set this out in my yard when we're done and throw some lights on it and show you how good it looks, put a little fog behind it and stage it really nice. So with that being said, let's go on a little hunt for some foliage in the backyard in the dark. Sorry, this is gonna look pretty grainy. I've got the ISO set all the way up on my camera since it is pretty much nighttime now. And I know exactly where I'm going to get some moss. There's this hill on the side of my house here where grass doesn't grow and it's nice and mossy usually. Yep, right about here. Lots of little peat moss is grown in between. I don't know if I can really actually get it out, but I'm gonna try without getting any grass in it. Alright, so I got this mossy spot here that's protruded in the plastic or whatever this is made of right here. So I'm going to take some English ivy green, which is pretty much my go-to when I'm trying to paint moss on these tombstones. Grab a nice stubby brush, and we're going to start with a dry brush, of course, as always. Get that base color on. And from there, we're going to go with some yellows, maybe some brown, and probably a brighter green too, to really make this moss pop. Especially once it gets down near the snake, it's gonna blend with the snake a little because it is a similar color, so I definitely want to separate those color wise. Okay, we got the base layer of the moss on. Like so. Like I said before, it definitely matches with the snake a little too much. That's why we're going to paint it a little lighter, splotch it around, and probably use some of that real moss to separate the snake so it doesn't just look like one big blob of green right here and over here. So, probably just throw maybe a little bit of white or a little bit of yellow into this green to lighten it up, and that should work pretty good. Now we're just going to highlight the top here, really light dry brushing. If you ever looked at moss or lichen or anything like that, it's never really one color. It's a multitude of color because there's always one part that might be a little dead and the other part's alive and new growth and etc. So you really want to make this stuff pop too. And next we're going to add tiny hints of brown in. And we're just going to tap it on the top here. If you've ever seen lichen before, this is what I'm trying to recreate. So I'm not just going to limit the moss to the actual mossy spots that the tombstone came with. I actually just paint some stuff on too. And if it's still wet from when you tea stained it, you can kind of brush that down too and give it a really nice look. Like there's spots here that were wet for years or something, and so the moss just grew in between the grooves. Just use your imagination here. Give it some cool look. Especially in these indents where the lettering is. I mean, moss could have grew inside there, who knows. And of course, if you put too much paint on it, just get it while it's wet, wipe it off, and don't worry, you didn't ruin it yet. If you really wanted to, you could actually tea stain with one of these colors too to get a nice even coat down, but if you do nice brush strokes with a really dry brush, you can get the same effect. And theoretically, if there was an anaconda, it'd probably be next to some swampy area, so this tombstone would be in a lot of humidity, so the whole thing should probably be covered in some kind of moss or mold anyways, if we're going with the theme here. Sometimes what I like to do is pretty much have the brush have nothing on it, barely, and just paint over the whole thing. Even if you can't see anything happening, it is happening. It's slightly staining it and adding a little bit of green hue to it, which all adds to the effect in the end. And that's what we're getting at, is the effect, the illusion of realism here. Of course, I'm using some really bright LED lights, so the greens definitely look a little weird on this camera, but they do look a lot better in person, I'll tell you that. Okay, now it's time for the fun. We're gonna glue some moss right on here with the hot glue gun. So, it's pretty simple. Go right about there. This will also help make it look like it's just not a blob of snake and moss right here and break it up a little bit. So, pretty simple. Glue on. The thing with the moss, if you do things outside for Halloween haunts, is it'll probably fall off and you'll have to replace it eventually, but that takes some time. So just throw that in there. That looks pretty awesome already. Awesome. Let's throw some more on. We throw another piece somewhere right here. And we'll throw another piece right here. I'm gonna throw another piece in the skull's mouth. I tried it out before I turned the camera on and it looks really, really cool. Gotta make sure none of the dirt's showing on the back, and just throw that right in there like so. That looks freaking awesome. I might as well throw a little bit more on the other side just so it looks like the anaconda's coming out of mossy skull mouth here. And I guess we'll just take the last piece and throw it right here under the anaconda on the corner. Like so. And we're done with moss. So, here's the finished product. I decided against the pumpkin vines. They just looked a little too bulky on here. But I am going to do one more thing, and that is take my hot glue gun with compressed air and actually create some artificial spider webbing on here. I'm going to try to avoid the anaconda as much as possible. Now you can go to Lowe's or Spirit or any online retailer and buy the Webcaster gun for 30 bucks, but if you already have a hot glue gun and a compressor, you might as well just use this. It's just as good if you have patience and get the right angle on it. You just gotta watch out, it'll make some blobs if you're not careful. So almost forgot the most important part. I gotta make the tongue for the anaconda. So just gonna take some scissors. This is a garage door seal for the bottom. Gonna cut out a little tongue and glue that on really quick because every anaconda needs a tongue, right? The tongue is on, so now we're on to the final step. I want to throw this outside with some proper lighting, some nice Halloween music, and a little bit of fog so you can get the true effect of what this should look like. This now amazing, not store-bought looking tombstone outside in its happy, natural environment. So, cue nighttime magic hand time travel. Well, what do you think? Definitely doesn't look like it's from the store anymore, I'll say that. If you like this kind of video, definitely leave me some comments. I've made quite a few videos like this before. I didn't seem to get a lot of views out of it. Hopefully this one will be a little bit more interesting. I really tried to go all out. A lot of different shots, some slow motion, a lot of time lapse, all that kind of stuff to make it really detailed, really make it so anybody can do this from my video. So with that being said, if you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more, definitely subscribe, and if you really want to do the ultimate favor, turn on that notification bell with notifications set to always, so you'll be in the know for all my future uploads. And if you're interested in any other Halloween tutorials, I'll leave links below in the description for my other tutorials I've made in the past. With that being said, I'll see you next video. Baer out.